How is a community supposed to actually work? What holds it all together when people disagree, or when feelings get hurt, or when someone gets lost along the way? Well, we're about to jump into a really foundational text that offers this pretty radical blueprint for how to live together. It tackles everything from status and power to conflict and forgiveness. So let's dive in.
So our whole journey here starts with a question that, let's be honest, we all ask in one way or another. A group of disciples go up to their teacher, Jesus, and they just get right to it. Who's on top? Who's the most important? It's this timeless, totally human question about power, status, and where we fit in the pecking order.
And the answer they get isn't some long, complicated lecture or a checklist of things to do. It's an action, a really simple but powerful gesture. He just calls a little kid over and puts them right there, smack in the middle of all these ambitious grown-ups. And that one move completely flips the entire conversation on its head.
And this is where we get the big revolutionary idea. Greatness, it turns out, isn't about grabbing power or having authority or being the one everyone looks up to. Nope, it's the exact opposite. It's about choosing to be humble, about taking on the low-status position of a child in that society. I mean, it just completely turns our normal way of thinking upside down, and it's just as wild today as it was 2,000 years ago.
Okay, so with this new definition of greatness comes a huge, huge responsibility. The text immediately hits us with this incredibly intense warning. The imagery is just brutal. You don't forget that. The point is crystal clear. Protecting the vulnerable, the little ones in the community, is absolutely non-negotiable. It's taken with the ultimate seriousness. And from protecting others, the focus suddenly snaps inward, to policing yourself. The text uses this really shocking, over-the-top language to make a powerful point.
Now, obviously, he's not literally telling people to do this. It's a way of speaking, a rhetorical tool to show the extreme measures you should be willing to take to deal with your own stuff. Anything in you that could hurt the community or trip someone else up. The message is simple. Get radical and decisive about your own issues.
So to really drive home just how much every single person matters, especially those who might have wandered off, we get this story, the parable of the wandering sheep. You've got a shepherd, right? He has 100 sheep, a full flock, everything's good. But one of them, just one, gets lost.
And this is what's so amazing about the story. The focus isn't on the 99% that are safe and sound. The shepherd leaves the 99 to go find that one. The real heart of the story, the big emotional payoff, is the joy of finding that one lost member and bringing them back. It just shows the immense value placed on every single individual.
Okay, so how do you take this big idea about valuing each person and actually use it when things get messy? Well, here's a practical, step-by-step guide for what to do when there's conflict. And it's a really thoughtful process. It starts small and private, with dignity, a one-on-one chat. If that doesn't resolve it, you bring in a couple of witnesses, not to gang up, but to get an objective view. Only then, as a last resort, does it go to the whole community. And the goal always is to win the person back, not to kick them out.
And you got to understand, this whole process isn't just, some friendly advice on how to get along. It's presented as having real, profound spiritual authority. The idea is that the decisions the community makes, when they follow this process carefully, actually have heavenly significance. It's a big deal.
So right after we get this system for dealing with conflict, one of the disciples, Peter, asks a really practical question. He's basically saying, okay, I get it, but where's the line? Is there a limit? How many times do I really have to forgive someone? And he even throws out what he probably thinks is a super generous number, 7 times.
The answer he gets is designed to be a total shock. Not 7, 77. Or in some translations, it's 70 times 7. But here's the thing, the specific number doesn't really matter. The point is to completely blow up the whole idea of keeping score. It's meant to be limitless. The point is to throw the scorecard away.
So to get us to understand why forgiveness has to be this radical, unlimited thing, a story is told. It's the famous parable of the unmerciful servant. And it all starts with a king who decides it's time to go over the books with his staff.
So the first servant comes in, and he owes the king an absolutely insane amount of money. 10,000 bags of gold. I mean, to put that in perspective, this is a deliberately impossible number. It's more than the entire tax revenue for a huge region. It's a debt you could never, ever repay in 1,000 lifetimes. The servant obviously can't pay. He begs for more time, and then something absolutely incredible happens. The master doesn't just give him an extension or a payment plan. He feels pity for him, and he just cancels it. All of it. Boof, gone.
an impossible debt completely erased by pure grace.
Now, that same guy, fresh off of being forgiven this life-crushing debt, walks out the door and finds a coworker who owes him some money. And the amount? 100 silver coins. Look, it's not nothing. It's maybe a few months' wages. But compared to what he was just forgiven, it's pocket change. It's practically zero.
And what does he do? Does he show a little grace? No way. He grabs the guy, starts choking him, and screams, "Pay me back what you owe me." He shows absolutely no mercy and has the man thrown in prison over this tiny, tiny amount.
And this just lays the hypocrisy out for everyone to see, doesn't it? The failure of perspective is just staggering. Look at this. On one side, you have this astronomical, life-destroying debt that was completely forgiven. And on the other, a manageable debt, something that could actually be paid back. The guy completely failed to let the mercy he received change him at all.
Well, of course, word gets back to the master, and he is furious. He calls the servant back in and just lays it out so clearly. The logic is devastatingly simple. I had mercy on you. The only right response was for you to have mercy on others. The grace he received was the very foundation for the grace he was expected to give.
And then comes the final line, the punchline, that turns this whole story from a tale about some wicked servant into a direct personal warning for every single person listening. This isn't just a nice idea, it's a requirement, and the standard is incredibly high. You have to forgive from your heart.
Which leaves us with this huge, lingering question. After this whole journey, redefining greatness as being small, valuing the one lost person over the 99 safe ones, and demanding forgiveness without limits, this ancient guide leaves us all with a deep personal challenge. It's one thing to say the words, "I forgive you," but what does it really mean? What does it truly look and feel like to forgive someone from the heart?